It has been 1 year since Matthew Ranford disappeared without a trace. To the outside world, he was an ordinary man living an unremarkable life. But beneath this facade lurked a dark obsession. An obsession that would lead him down a path few could ever imagine. Matthew was born and raised in the northern city of Salford. His childhood ordinary, quiet, perhaps lonely at times. He wasn't the type of boy to be surrounded by others. Instead, he found companionship elsewhere. While most children played in the park and on the streets, Matthew spent his time in solitude, with his pet rat, Ratthew, his only constant companion, a creature he seemed to understand and that understood him better than anyone else.
I met Matthew through Facebook Marketplace. I was looking for a place to stay. He was offering a room for reasonable rent, which is hard to come by nowadays. He seemed pretty normal at first, nothing too out of the ordinary. He was relatively clean, kept to himself. Excessive amount of cheese in the fridge, but I didn't think much of it at the time. Thought he might be doing keto.
Matthew's journey followed a typical path. After completing his studies at school and college, his academic achievements and keen interest in science landed him an internship at ENTIRLEY, a cutting-edge facility. ENTIRLEY is known for its work in cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. Their lab's dedicated to testing the latest products, particularly on rats.
Matthew was never comfortable with the company's ethics, but I suppose he thought he could change things.
Impressing his superiors with his knowledge and diligence, Matthew transitioned from intern to full-time employee, securing a permanent position at the company. But as his career advanced, so too did his obsession with the creatures he worked with daily.
We're very proud of our internship program. It has yielded some great results and nurtured some wonderful careers. We took a real loss losing Martin.
Matthew loved his work. It seemed as if he couldn't really get enough of it, really. He said being around the rats made him feel special, but I never really paid much attention to him until the accident.
Monday, 9th of September 2024. While conducting a routine checkup in the lower levels of the ENTIRLEY facility, Matthew slipped and fell into a vat of radioactively exposed rat test subjects.
ENTIRLEY's health and safety standards go above and beyond. The well-being of our staff is of the utmost importance.
Emergency services rushed to the scene, only to find Matthew was physically unharmed, and he was discharged from the hospital in only a matter of hours.
No one was harmed, and that's the most important thing to take away from the situation. The idea that we have a vat of radioactive rats is utterly ridiculous. But my lawyer has advised me not to comment at this time.
Matthew wasn't the same after the accident. I mean, physically he seemed unharmed, but mentally something had changed. And then things just escalated after that. You know, I could look past the fridge full of cheese and obsessing over rats, but not actually embodying one. I started hearing this sniffing through the wall, under the door, in the hallway. I thought I was going mad. I had to set up a camera in the kitchen just to check we didn't have some infestation. Next thing you know, he's like crawling around on all fours. Then I catch him wearing this tail. You know, I thought it was some kind of furry thing, you know, where they dress up, but it was clearly some homemade rat tail.
The 12th of October 2024, a month following his fall at ENTIRLEY, Matthew began to take on a new identity altogether, Ratthew.
Okay, so next thing you know, he's changing his name to Ratthew, you know, and he just simply refused to answer to anything else.
Yes, we will have to change Matthew's name on our systems and accounts to Ratthew Manford. Political correctness gone mad, if you ask me.
I suppose once he changed his name, he'd become something else entirely. You know, I couldn't wrap my head around it personally, but I tried my best to stay respectful.
Hello? Matthew? Matthew, I swear to God you can't keep calling me like this. I'm at work. This is the 6th time this week. You're an embarrassment, do you know that? Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm hanging up, okay? I'm hanging up the phone, you freak.
While Matthew's friends, family, and co-workers embraced his new identity, his increasingly strange behaviour began to raise some concerns at his workplace.
We did lose some of the test subjects. Unfortunately, this is the nature of the work.
Were you aware of Matthew taking the rats from your facility?
Taking the rats? That's crazy. Unfortunately, some rats don't make it through the test stages, and they're humanely disposed of.
An employee injured due to poor safety conditions, his mental state permanently altered by the accident, and radioactively exposed rats seemingly disappearing out of thin air. Was there something far more sinister at play at the pharmaceutical company?
There's no company conspiracy. These claims are all completely false.
Do you have any comments in regards to the leaked documents that outline a number of health and safety violations at Eridotech?
It's fake. Fake news. What sort of second-rate, phony, shit-for-brains tabloid is sharing misinformation?
We got this information from The Guardian.
Shit. Nope. Shit. It's getting a bit hot in here. You should really turn down those lights. Anyone else a bit hot?
Oh yeah, he was taking the rats from the facility, yeah. Sometimes up to 5 at a time. I asked what he was doing, and he said he was working from home.
Sally. Yeah, Kelly. Kelly, hi. Robbie's not dumped you yet then, huh? Dead? I'll allow plenty of fish and sea, hey? Probably can't make the funeral. Usually got spin class on Wednesdays. Well, anyway, while I've got you, I'm at that documentary interview thing. And they're asking me some ridiculous questions about safety procedures and accidents and lawsuits. Just thought you could clear that up. Tell them nothing's going on. Since when? Emails? Why would I check my emails when I would, you know, the blonde lass at the desk? What? Why? We have a policy for that? Human resources? What the fuck is a human resource?
He starts storing the rat carcasses in our fucking freezer, like right next to the cornettos. I walked past his room one day and he's chanting, "Ratman, Ratman, Ratman." Okay, and then, in all fairness, I might have pissed him off because I forgot to clean the air fryer. He screamed at me, "You rule the day you ever cross the Ratman!" And then just like that, he was gone. You know, he didn't come back after that.
Authorities fell short acquiring any solid leads surrounding Matthew's whereabouts in the first 48 hours, with his last sighting being CCTV footage of Matthew crawling into Manchester's underground canal systems. Following Matthew's disappearance, investigators discovered a number of artifacts created for Matthew's Ratman identity, including notebooks, weapons, and pieces of a homemade rat costume. From this, investigators pieced together that Matthew had used over 200 skinned rats, taken from the Eridor facility, to form a rat suit, which they believe Matthew was wearing when he was last seen.
I was hired by Matthew's mother 48 hours following his disappearance.
The first 72 hours are pivotal to finding a missing person. However, it seems the police have failed to find any compelling evidence. I will do everything in my power to find your son, Mrs. Ranford.
I've been working tirelessly to uncover the mystery behind Matthew Ranford's disappearance. I've delved deep into the sick and twisted mind of the Ratman, and I've combed through his demented notes and foul fantasies and devised a plan to lure him from his lair.
Evening, Miss Ranford. I understand it's quite late, but we may have found an extremely important piece of evidence that just couldn't wait. It appears... Oh, you're alright, mate. How you doing? Yeah, I'm good. What are you up to? Alright, yeah, I'm free. Why is the back door open? Huh? What are you defrosting? Bloody hell. How many Alright, I'll have what you're having. I'll have the pie. Yeah, the cottage pie. Yeah, and some potato waffles while you're there. Yeah, cheers, mate. Evening, Miss Ranford. As I was saying, we have discovered an extremely important piece of evidence that could lead us to Matthew. It's been a long 24 hours. My freezer's packed in. I've got 3 cottage pies. They're frosting in the sink right now. I don't even like cottage pies. I think I got them mixed up with shepherd's pie. Cottage pie is beef, right? And then shepherd's pie is lamb, because shepherds have sheep. Not that I don't like beef, but I do prefer it on a roast. But that does raise the question of the connection between the cows and the cottages. You bastard, that's hot. So as I was saying, we have found a severed human arm along with items we believe belong to Matthew in the Manchester Canal. Now, we have good reason to believe it is Matthew's arm, but we can't be sure at this time. So give me a bell when you get this. Ta-ra!
30th November 2024. Authorities rushed to Canal Street, where private investigator Pete Ingle had discovered a severed human arm floating in the water.
Hello, Mrs. Ranford. It's been 96 hours since Matthew was last seen, but I've been working tirelessly to find him in the last 48 hours. I've checked his flat, manhole covers, takeaway bins, all over the city. Unfortunately, I think it is time we look for a body. There's a good chance he slipped again in the sewers, snapped his neck, his body fermenting in shit. Just mangled and rotten. Probably won't be a pretty sight. So, call me back when you get this and we'll discuss payment options. See you in a bit. Ta-ra!
While investigators were quick to believe the arm belonged to Matthew, forensic analysis told a different story altogether.
Yeah, we couldn't quite believe what they found in the canal. But I suppose what came after that was probably the scariest part of the whole thing.
It's hard to explain the experience of finding human remains, especially a loved one. Found my ex-wife dead. She was always doing daft things. She'd put her makeup on while driving, leave her straight in her zone to heat up. I'll never know what made her use a toaster in the bathroom. But sometimes you have to count yourself lucky to know what really happened to a loved one. Just think of OJ. Passed away and never knew who killed his ex-wife. Tragic.
Police forensics discovered that the arm was not Matthew's, but instead belonged to Nathan Taylor, who had also been reported missing only 2 days after Matthew was last seen. However, what was more shocking to analysts were the teeth marks on the arm. Accessing dental records, these marks matched that of Matthew's teeth. A daunting question cast a heavy shadow over the investigation. Had Matthew become more rat than man?
Everyone keeps saying to me, didn't you see it coming with a name like Matthew Ranford? But no one's investigating Barry Marlowe. He could be a barman for all we know.
There were a lot of theories going around. It all just seems so unbelievable and yet plausible. I think he's alive.
The bite marks on the arm really flipped my investigation on its head, but I've devised 3 theories regarding the mysterious Ratman. 1. Matthew fell into a vat of radioactive rats at Eridor Tech, permanently altering his mind, with the Ratman persona completely taking over. A sort of Jekyll and Hyde situation, if you will. Now, he's living in the sewers and only appears on the surface to claim unsuspecting victims walking the Manchester canals. 2. A company-wide conspiracy at Eridor Tech. Matthew never agreed with the company's practice and ethics. Perhaps he found out something he shouldn't have. The company needed to shut him up, so they created the Ratman identity to make him look crazy, explain his sudden disappearance, and ultimately discredit Matthew's word against the company. And 3. Matthew never existed. His mother just cooked all this up. Maybe she's crazy, delulu, cuckoo, deranged, I could go on. Insane, demented, disturbed, psychotic, bad shit. Or should I say, rat shit. Perhaps she treated that pet rat, Matthew, like a son, and it's the rat that went missing. She could have made this all up.
But what about the photos, videos, and records of Matthew?
AI. It's becoming more advanced as we speak. We don't know its full capabilities. I mean, just look at the hands. It's always the hands.
And his friends, family, and co-workers.
Drugs. They're just awful. They can do some real damage. Could be a real Fight Club type situation, imagining things.
You have no clue, do you?
It's not easy to say this, but I think we need to let Matthew go and put this all to bed, especially all these wild theories about my company.
I really hope that Matthew can come home to us. He knew how to work the dodgy thermostat, and it's like really been acting up recently, so, you know.
Does the company need to follow particular health and safety procedures to ensure the safety of our employees? Yes. Do companies sometimes have to cut corners in order to keep it afloat? Yes. Does cutting corners sometimes put lives at risk? Maybe. Is this a bad thing? Who can really say? I've run this company for 5 years and I've only had 5 employees down the clock. 1 a year is a pretty good track record. Well, it's technically 6, but Michelle died after half 6 in the hospital, so it wasn't really good company time.
Matthew, if you're watching this, we love you, we miss you. I am using your fridge shelf, so, you know, while you're gone, so I hope that's all right.
What are you saying? I'm extorting Matthew's mother? That I've got no investigative skills? No intention of finding him? And I've just been using her for money? I mean, come on, you know that's...
Matthew Ranford's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. The theories are as numerous as they are chilling, but none have brought us closer to the truth. Is Matthew still lurking beneath Manchester's streets, lost in the labyrinth of the canal tunnels? Has his murderous Ratman identity consumed him entirely, transforming him into something else? Or does some other creature stalk the dark, forgotten places of the city, waiting to strike again? Until these questions are answered, one thing is certain. The mystery remains, and with it, the haunting possibility that more may fall prey to the Ratman.